Get started. How are you tonight?
I'm doing really good. Thanks for asking. For those of y'all who don't know, I'm also a grant writer. I had 3 grants due today. 3.
Oh
I've
my
been writing all day long, but it's crazy because like my day job actually wants me to do work when I just
God.
want to be writing.
What is that
like, like,
about?
like, how dare my day job? But I
It's
got them all done.
disrespectful. It's
Yeah.
disrespectful. Okay,
Mhm.
so normally, I have a glass of wine to do my toast. Tonight, I'm drinking some hot tea. Okay, my sinuses are humbling me on tonight. So here is a toast to my girls. This is what your fifth book,
This is the 6th.
the
Yeah.
sixth book. And this is yet another author. I caught her on her first book, and I was with her in the gym shooting. You understand what I'm saying? I stayed low. We built together, and now we here. So kudos to you. My girl got a
Thank
full catalog, baby. Cheers. Clink, clink,
Thank
clink.
you so much. So I love
Clink, clink,
how
clink.
there's quite a bit of y'all that found me with 3 months in a cry, and y'all have been rocking with me ever since. And I'm so grateful. Hopefully, y'all can see the growth in my writing. And if you love 3 months in a cry, hopefully you see just how many different topics and tropes I'm attacking. I believe writing's a muscle that you have to stretch. And so I don't want to stay the same. I just want to keep growing and, keep getting better.
Well, I want you to know I definitely see it, and I'm just super proud. I'm super. I know I'm just a reader. I don't know you personally, but I'm just really proud.
Don't say just. Without y'all, we ain't got nothing to do. We don't got the right. We need the reader.
I feel it. Well, as an early fan from the get go, I'm just super proud of your journey. I really am.
Thank you.
And that was actually the first thing I wanted to say. I feel like at this point, I know in the LB Gaines book, it's gonna be some hunching. It's gonna be some hunching. But my girl, what you did in 109, I was like, oh, okay, my girl's showing out. Girl, I was
Did you
not
clutch your
prepared.
pearls?
I did. Literally, there was several times I was staring at the camera, at the invisible camera, because like, girl, okay, I you clocked in. Okay, so before I get to the specific questions, I want to know because we know 109 is book one of the 2 a.m. series.
Yeah.
How did this collab come about?
Yeah. So, all 3 of us, myself, B.H. Renfro, and CM Barnes, all had our debut year in 2020. And honestly, it's funny how it's funny how the universe works because we were all in community in different ways and didn't know we were in community in different ways. So, like, DH also has a reader page. I have a reader page as well, in which we do reviews. We've been in the reader space for a long time. So, she was a part of my original art team for 3 months in a cry, and I didn't even know. She read it, she loved it. And then of course, like you would have to be living under a rock not to remember when Enigma took the universe by storm, right? And
Yes.
took the book talk and the bookstagram world by storm. And so when that happened, of course I followed her. Of course I read it. I read Concrete and Cadence, was a really big fan of her work. But what was really nice was like Sam was very affirming on threads. Like at the time, I want to say Beneath the Harvest Moon had just came out. She was like, this is really good. She was listening to the audio. She's like, LB Gaines is going to be at your traditionally published bookstore. Just you wait. She's really good. And so we were all kind of in communities, just really affirming one another.
Hmm.
And so naturally, again, being a reader girly, I wanted to read all of their work. So at the time, DH was coming out with Scott. So, I went and I read that and I was like, okay, she can really write. And then CM happened to post on her threads a picture of her blue and gold. And I said, wait a second, Soror? What? We realized that both CM and I are members of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. And, from there it was up. So, CM and I were just kind of connecting on like soror stuff, getting to know each other. And we kind of brought up the idea of what would it look like if we did a co-author series. And she was just like, can I bring DH? And I'm like, you absolutely have to bring DH along because they have the lit library in common.
Hmm.
And I really think it was meant to be because it flows so effortlessly. We
Hmm.
both already had things in our catalog that we were supposed to put out in the first quarter, but we each of us pushed back our own releases, and it just flowed. It was like, you know, CM said, "What do you want to write about?" And it was my idea to like spin the block because like I love a second chance story, but
Yes.
it was DH's idea for it to be around Valentine's Day and actually the erotica idea was hers. People will probably think it's CM Barnes. It was actually DH's idea for it to be around
Okay.
erotica.
Mm-hmm.
And that same day we had covers. So shout out to Designs by Asia. She's also an author, Asia Cornish. She makes covers. And so we just happened to be on her page, or she makes like, and we see these covers. And when I say it just felt cosmic because
Yeah.
within 2 days, we had the titles, we had the themes, we had the releases, we had the order, and we just started writing. And it flows so smoothly.
Well, I love that for us. So I'm happy that it came together the way it did. Okay, you ready to get into these questions?
I'm ready.
Okay, so I have some specific questions for the book, and then I have my think fast questions that I just always ask. Okay, so we start off with the Galentine's party, and I feel like their conversations, the dialogue with the it was a certain name you said about a sex toy consultant. What did you call it?
Called it a pleasure consultant, right? So
A
I
pleasure
joked that it
consultant.
was like a pleasure sommelier, which obviously is a name for wine. And so she corrects her and says, "No, that's not the right word. I would prefer to be called a pleasure consultant."
Mm-hmm.
Every toy host or women's pleasure consultant, they want to be called something different.
Mm-hmm.
But in this book, it's a pleasure consultant.
Okay, the pleasure consultant. I felt like her conversations with them, her asking them questions, her getting them to open up, it it set the tone for the opening of the story. And I feel like that was an interesting place to start. What made you choose that as how we open the book?
Yeah. So before I write any words, any book I write, to know who my characters are first. And so there might be tidbits or facts that never make it in the story, but I know their zodiac sign, I know their personalities, I know. And so I knew that Ava was going to be extremely beautiful. She was going to be extremely successful. I knew that she was going to make a lot of money. So she doesn't need a man for anything, right? If she was going
Mm-hmm.
to be with somebody, it was based off of a want, not a need.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew that as successful as I was about to make her, she was suppressed. Now, don't get it twisted. It's not that Ava is a prude. It's not that she can't come out her shell. She very much so wants to. It's just for whatever reason, the men in her tax bracket, the men that she's around, or the people she's surrounding herself with, are really still stuck in that whole politics of respectability, what they think a woman's supposed to be, what they think a woman's supposed to ask for.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that I needed to create a safe space where a woman who has been taught her whole life that she shouldn't speak crudely, I knew I was going to have to create a safe space for it to
Mm-hmm.
open up, right? And
Right.
so, granted, I've read books where like the first page is hunching, and there is nothing wrong with that. Love those stories down.
We
Don't get
don't
it
mind
twisted.
it. We don't
Love
mind
those
it.
stories down. But that didn't feel like Ava. It didn't feel like her character.
Mm-hmm.
So um I knew that, like, I think, and I see one of my friends just popped in the live, and she's not even a reader girly, but hey, Erica, um bomb mom. I think it helped me and my friends create a safe space for talking about some taboo topics, and it's usually in a community, whether we're at brunch, whether we're shopping, whether, and it just hit me Galentine's Day, right? Like, her girls need to be together. They need to talk about how they're starving sexually. They
Mm-hmm.
need to have a safe space for her to admit, like, I've been having sex, but I've not been orgasming. And excuse me, maybe I should filter myself for a TikTok. I need to create um, a safe space for that conversation, so that
Yeah.
when it finally started happening, every touch felt amplified to you all because you knew how much she was starving for it.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. And they actually touched on my next question. we also learn, like through the conversation, that she is very intentional on being put together. And so you actually answered the question that, you were intentional in making sure we knew this to help, amplify what we saw in the end. Another thing that I feel like came up a lot is that it's like she shies away from pleasure just on instinct. What made you decide to frame pleasure as like dangerous in her mind?
Yeah. Um, so I am happy as a millennial now to see how liberated women are sexually, but there was a time where that wasn't the case, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so, you know, I grew up super religious, and women could be as freaky as they want behind closed doors, but in public they needed to be a lady. And so when I thought about how old Ava was, right, I'm putting her in her mid 30s. And so even if she was subscribed to the newer ideology of be free who you are, there would still be something in her that's nagging her. Like, would my mom be proud? Would my aunties be looking down at me? Would people be judging me? And
Yeah.
so, because of her age, I was just like, to me, I felt like I wasn't doing the woman justice not to show that dichotomy between what her mind thinks and what she's willing to say out.
Mm-hmm. Now we freak leaks.
Well, I
But
mean, some of us, yeah, but some
yeah.
of us are still repressed. Like I can't tell you how many friends I have who be like, I never had a whole face, and I'm like,
Right. Sucks
never.
for you.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
not even for like a small amount of time. Right? Like, I think that there's more women than you think, beautiful, successful Black women
Yeah.
who went straight into marriage and doing things the way society told you to do it. And again, we a marriage stand house over here. There's nothing wrong with that. But like, and I think if you would ask them if you could do it differently, would you? And they would say yes, right?
Yeah.
Or when you ask them what would you change about your college experience, like me and my friends talk about this all the time, and they'd be like, I would have, right? And I feel like, no, seriously, like
Yeah.
they say something along that lines, and I'm like, well, what if Ava did it one time,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
What she did it one time in her past, and then she was respectable, but her mind kept going back to that
Yeah.
one time.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. I love that. Okay. What was the inspiration behind the Cinder Car storyline? Because that was different and I loved it a lot.
So, you know, back in my college days, this is, pre Uber, pre whatever, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
people, if they wanted an experience, they had to be brave. Now, LB is not condoning you just meeting and getting in the car with strength. That's not what LB's condoning. But
Correct.
there was a time when, you know, if you met someone and you wanted something spontaneous, right? You're not just sending yourself in a ride share like, come get me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so
Mm-hmm.
the inspiration came really quickly that, okay, if she's going to do something outside of her own comfort zone, outside of herself, she might have not trust herself to drive herself there. Like, there would have to be
Yeah.
something that would have to let her inhibitions go, right? It's
Yeah.
like, well, I'm setting a car for you. I'm gonna blindfold you. I'm like, there is no turning back now, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're here.
And there was a point in her ride or her waiting on the car to even show up where she was like, I have to or else I'm gonna change my mind. Like I just gotta
Yeah.
do this, I gotta go. So yeah, okay. Um Now in O's note in the flashback, when we get to see like what her experience was like the first time riding in a car, he had a note for her and it said the gate will open when you're ready to surrender. So when I read it, I felt like surrender, that was a specific choice for that word. What
Mhm.
made you choose like surrender instead of just when you're ready?
Yeah. So keep in mind, right, when she gets in the car, she's not blindfolded immediately. She gets
Mm-hmm.
to a certain point and the driver hands the blindfold back. you can read that as he doesn't want her to know where he lives, sure. But you
Mm-hmm.
can also read that as it's like, are you willing to let your inhibitions go? Right. And
Mm-hmm.
so there was a world in which she didn't put the blindfold on and the driver still would have drove to the house and he probably wouldn't have let her in the gate like because remember he's a dom. Like
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't do nothing with you.
Yeah.
You're not coachable, you're not teachable, you're not workable, you don't
Mm-hmm.
really want to be here,
Yeah.
the word surrender um was definitely used on purpose because he wanted to make sure that she was all in for this experience, right? Like sometimes you'll say yes to something, but you don't mean yes all the way,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so getting in the car was the easy part. But when you get here, are you going to surrender for all of the different ways pleasure and pain sometimes collide, all of the different ways that I might ask you to do something, or I might tell you that I want to do something to you that's taboo, you've never experienced before. I think in that moment, it was very enigma coded to me because, like, everybody was just like, oh my goodness, this is too grown. Like, is I'm making sure you're grown enough to be here.
Yeah. And that's valid. That's valid. Because if it would have been me in the story, at some point I would be like, you know what, this is too much. This is too much. Take me home. So yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying is very valid. Now throughout the question, some of these are quotes that really stood out to me. And I wanted to say the quote and you tell me your thought process when you were writing that part. Cool.
Mhm.
Okay, so here's the first quote. He asked, do you ever stop thinking long enough to feel?
Yeah. And what's funny is all of my MMCs ask the FMC that question in a different way. Um, but when O asks her that specifically, he's like, he can see all this built up tension. He's like,
Mm,
why'd you get in the car and you're standing in the middle of my house in this lingerie looking beautiful and you're acting like a hermit crab who's too afraid to say anything, right? Like,
yeah,
do you ever, like, I know the thoughts are running rampant in your head. Do you ever stop calculating and stop with the politics of respectability and just say the first thing that comes out of your mind? Damn if it's good, damn if it's politically correct, just because you want to say it.
yeah. I loved it. That quote really, really, really stuck out to me because I feel like you can identify with that just in general. A lot of times I feel like there's things we would love to do, we would love to say, but we overthink and talk ourselves out of it. And so
Mm-hmm.
that quote, I was just like, okay, oh, you spitting something. Okay, now skip to the revisit. That's what I'm gonna call it. We end up finding out in conversation that O has kept an eye on her over
Mm-hmm.
all these years. That kind of shook me a little bit because, like, okay, we don't know each other's name and all this other stuff, but like, you know what I've been up to. What made you add that like twist to the story? Because that was a plot twist to me.
Okay, well, three things. The
Mm-hmm.
first, O knows who she is. So I don't know if y'all caught when they met each other on an app. And
Mm-hmm.
so she created a real profile with her name, Ava. He just created O. He very much so knows her name, how to look her up, but everything around him was a mystery, right?
Yeah.
So really, it wasn't in this day and age. It's really not hard to find somebody. Like, unfortunately, all of our carbon footprints all over social media. But
Yeah.
also, it was a little bit of a nod to this is very problematic of me. I love a soft kidnapping in books. Like,
Okay.
I know you're gonna be like, what the heck is a soft kidnapping? A soft kidnapping is he took her into his custody and she wants to be there. I'll just like
Okay.
very, very Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
So I love, and again, my book club, like, they make fun of me all the time. They're like, what the hell is a soft kidnapping? There is no such thing. Um, that it was a nod to that, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I was leaving the door open, and if you've been with me from 3 months in Accra, you know I like to go back and check on my characters. I did it with 3 months in Accra. I'm working on a Broom 214 follow up.
Ooh. Okay.
um I am. I like, and honestly, that was my way of keeping it open in case I wanted to like fill in the gap of the 10 years. um
Ooh.
and show you how he's been watching, or in case I ever wanted to go from his point of view. I'm not saying I will, but that was me keeping the door open.
Okay, I loved all of that for us. Okay. Ava mentions not allowing men to control her, but
Mhm.
in the same token, she just effortlessly submits to O. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, the ones that she was giving control weren't worth the power she was giving up, right?
Mm,
So that's one. But I'll never forget one of the things my best friend said in college. God rest her soul. She would be like, if I had a good man, I don't know what I'd be capable of. Like, I'll tell you I won't do this, I won't do that, but I don't know. Maybe,
yeah.
right? And so she Ava talks about she's been with men, but whenever she whispers even small bursts of pleasures or things that she wants, they look at her weird. And
Mm-hmm.
because they're judging her, she was never able to really submit or open up fully. She always was only putting a very small portion of herself out in those relationships. And so
Gotcha.
in this situation, right, him encouraging her to speak up, no matter, you notice she's not embarrassed to say what she wants
Mm-hmm.
with O. It makes her feel secure and safe.
Okay. It made me think of, I don't know if you've seen the interview with Jill Scott when she was like, if you could tell me what to do, you could tell me what to do.
Yeah,
It made me think of
absolutely.
that. Yeah. Okay, here's another quote that I wanted to pick your brain on. Fear is only information. You decide what to do with it. And I did add this note that fear is like a recurring sentiment in the book.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Ava is afraid of her own pleasure. It's like, okay. And I said this on another interview, but I have to give you an example. So I was a pleasure consultant or someone who created who hosted those parties, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I had $1 for every time a woman would tell me, I don't like toys, I don't like whatever. And so, of course, if you don't like something, you don't like it. But then the more I would dig deeper and say, well, what don't you like about it? I would find out that right before they were about to they would stop. They would pull the toy out, pull the wand out, pull the whatever. Like it's I know, and you're probably like, what? No, some people are afraid of what that pleasure could feel like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or it feels so good they stop themselves, right? And so that's the sensation I was getting at in the book. Like you're afraid to let yourself go there, right? And it was a double entendre, both like with an O, right, or pleasure wise, but also you're afraid that you're gonna like it so much that maybe you'll find out you want to be in a poly romance and you just never wanted to talk about that, or maybe you'll find out that like um, sexuality is fluid, and like you're
Yeah.
afraid of the things that you might find on the other side, so you're trying to trick yourself into not exploring those things, but that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean they don't exist. You're just blocking yourself off from it.
Okay. I like that. Now what this is not a question, but I wrote this because I just needed to say it out loud. The bedroom scene is a new chapter. The song selection is Say It by Neo. Shit is about to get real. I don't know how I knew when I saw the song choice, but I said, oh, my girl about to take us there. How did you enjoy the playlist, like making a playlist and picking songs for each chapter? Hey, hey.
So yes, I make a playlist for every book, and I make it very early on, even when I'm still at the point in figuring out who my characters are. And then throughout my whole writing process, I play it so much. I play the playlist so much that my 3-year-old sang like all the words to Body Party by Sierra. And I was like, how do you know that song? She's like, you play it in the like you
Right?
know, on one hand, I was like, yes, you know good music. But on the other hand, I was like, why do you know that song?
Right.
It's a part of my process, and I play it and play it and play it, to the point where I feel like if I don't have a playlist that fits the vibes or fits the story, it impedes my writing. But this
Mhm.
was the first time that I put the songs actually on the chapters, and I did it because typically the playlist is on a loop. No, it was like I I could vividly hear the song at certain scenes. And
Mm-hmm.
so, I know that we tend to ignore when authors give that suggestion. I don't, if you haven't read 109 yet, or you already read it, reread it and listen to the songs because it amplifies the whole experience. Um, yeah, it does. I
It
promise you
really
it does.
does. It
It
does.
does.
It just, I don't know what it was, but it just added that extra little zhuzh to it. Okay. Was there any significance in different things happening in different rooms? Like it felt like every adult scene or whatever, it took place somewhere different. Was there significance in that, or that's just how you wrote it?
So honestly, I'm a big sensory person. And this probably won't surprise y'all if y'all read 3 Months in a Cry. I'm actually way more comfortable as a writer describing places and scenes than
Mm-hmm.
dialogue. Actually, the very first draft of 3 Months in a Cry, my husband read it and he was like, they don't talk enough. like this, like the scenery is beautiful. Like I feel like I'm in Ghana, but like,
Yeah.
are they gonna talk more? And so I just think that you'll probably always know and be able to really feel the LB work. Sorry, I have a really big dog right here that just wants to say hello to everyone for some
I was
reason.
wondering what that was. I was like, is that
He's
somebody's shadow? Okay.
he's a mastiff. He's
That's
very
okay.
large.
He's welcome here.
So that's just my style. So naturally, if I, describing scenery is my style, but also I'm not ashamed to admit that the first, I mean, I read Zane when I was younger, but my first like reintroduction to erotica as an adult was 50 Shades of Grey.
Mm.
And that book was good for some reason. It did other things poorly. We're going to call it what it was, right? Just like
Mhm.
Twilight had its day, but people write way better, like,
Yeah.
paranormal. 50 Shades had its gray. And one of the things that captivated me about that book when I was a young adult reading it was all the, because I've read it before I watched the movies, was all the different scenery. And
Mm-hmm.
so I knew if I ever wrote erotica, I was going to give the full fledged of the house, from the playroom to I knew I was going to do it, but I was going to make it black and I was going to make it sexy and I was going to make
Yeah.
it, um, the whole library and there being a bed that comes out. That's just the reader girl in me. Like,
Yeah.
what would do it for LB? A room full of books with all my faves and a bed coming out the wall. You
Yes.
know,
I'm saying
that
in
just
the
does it for me.
library. Okay. We starting off with a
Yeah,
bang. I love that.
you got to do it on top of books because you can't be too loud. Ain't that what
Right.
Luda told us? Yeah.
Hmm. That was good. Okay. Another quote. I want you to know, I don't think I've ever highlighted so many quotes in a book that I did with this. It was crazy. I wasn't expecting it. Um, I was afraid of being judged, of being mislabeled. Loud women get called difficult. Freaky women get called names. I learned to wear neatness like armor.
Again, that's you know going back to relationships, and I hope that no one on this live has ever experienced, but to take the time to actually say what you want out loud and getting the courage to say something and a partner looking at you or judging you or telling you gross or ooh or like why would you want that, right? And in
Yeah.
that moment, I wanted y'all to feel that from Ava. It's not that she's never said what she wanted before. I mean, she might have never said as much as she's ever said to O, but she's tried little things here, a toy here, add a finger there, or whatever. But the way she was judged or scowled at, like as if she was dirty, it made her fearful, right?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
it just became safer, right? Like, okay, if I want to be in a relationship, if I think I want to have kids, if I think I want to get married, let me just comply.
Mhm. Yeah. Now, one touch that I really liked in the story was the charms. So initially, she got three charms, and he said the mask is for the parts you hide, the whip is for every limit you broke, and the flame is what you set on fire to find yourself. And we know towards the end, she gets another. She gets the hourglass. What made you add not just like because you could have just said he gifted her a charm bracelet, but naming the specific charms and what they stood for. Like, what was your thought in it?
So you'll always get little aspects of me in books. So I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl that likes perfume, jewelry, and purses. You know, like my LB Goons, which are like my moderators, my editors, my people who keep me grounded. They got to tell me every day not to buy a new purse, right? So for me, right, I know, like I have like a Pandora bracelet, but I know the thought that goes into charms. I
Hmm.
don't, or even with my husband or even friends that gift me charms, they gift me charms for a reason. And I thought, wouldn't it be beautiful, right, if he did something to commemorate her experience? But also in the LB universe, men will always be generous. Period.
Period.
It's not enough just to have money. Who gives a f about the money he has if he's not spending it? That's a quote from the City Girls, right? Like we don't care what he got if he ain't spending it. So to me, it was
Yeah.
important for him to be generous. And of course, if you read the book, you know he tricks on her with private jets and YSL, and
Hmm.
if he was in that YSL just and all that. But also for me, right, a gift has more meaning when there's thought behind it. And since you've been watching me all these years,
Yeah.
you know you can get me something that means something to me, right? You've
Hmm.
watched me suppress all these years.
I loved it. Okay. I noticed, or what stuck out to me in the scene with Sierra and Malcolm. Even though in O's present, she's like, "You want control? You got to kill. What you want me to do?" She immediately switched to being in control. What gave you that idea?
So I wanted y'all to know she always had it in her. And I was trying to drop little droplets of that, like, you know, everybody's shy at the Valentine's Day party and she speaks up and was like, no, get the rose one. That was like,
Hmm.
oh, okay, so you got a toy collection at home, check. And then it was like, you're so shy, but you showed up to a stranger's house with a teddy on and a trench coat. Check, baby girl, I see you, right?
Hmm.
Then it was you, so I was trying to drop little like, okay, you've asked for it in little increments, even though no one's received it. It was always in her. And so,
Hmm.
when I wrote the scene, my first beta readers was like, did he know that was going to happen? No. Wanted wanted to replenish her, restore her, give her aftercare. Because again, in LB world, there's always going to be aftercare. He was bringing good-looking people to rub them down, but
Yeah.
he peeped her, peeping Sierra, peeping him. Like he noticed that Ava was turned on by
Hmm.
watching Sierra stare at him,
Hmm.
right? And so if you notice, he tells her, "Say what you want, tell me," and she instantly switches into being in control, right?
Hmm.
And granted, that's the first time it happens in this book. You know, the big culminating chapter of chapter 8, right, where like
Hmm.
your dom switches for her. He switches for
Yeah.
her because he has emotional feelings for her,
Yeah.
right? And so that, chapter 8 isn't the first time he switches in the book. The first time he switches in the book is actually chapter 5 with
Yeah.
Sierra and Malcolm.
Because he gave over control to her and was like,
Yeah,
okay,
he
it's your
did.
show. Yeah.
Yeah, tell us what to do.
Okay. Another quote. Remember, the world already tries to tame you. I just remind you how to disobey beautifully. I think that was my favorite quote.
Yeah. And so with that, I really just, yes, O is fine. Yes, O is that man, but he's like, baby girl, I'm just holding a mirror to you. Like this ain't really about me. Like I'm just the catalyst. You're the one in control. You're the one who's beautiful. You're the one who got that good in between.
Yeah. Mhm. I love I was so bad. Okay. I I wrote this as I was reading it. I meant to go back and finish the question, but I could finish it in my head. I don't want to say shocked, but when he took her on the shopping spree, I was like, okay, ball out. But then he took her to his favorite place to reset. And I was like, okay, he really is pouring more into her than just like the physical. Is okay. I was almost like, okay, are they gonna end up together? Because I feel like he falling in love or something. Like, was I reading too much into that?
No, oh, absolutely loves that girl.
Okay, okay.
So the funny thing is, I'm glad you picked that up. He does really small acts to show, like, one, right? Him watching her all that time, right?
Yes.
Two, I don't know if you peeped him saying right after he met her, he got off those sites because he was like,
Yes.
I can't duplicate this experience. That's not to say hasn't been with anybody, but I wanted you to assume he hasn't taken like a true sub since then, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there, no, you didn't misread that. I was giving you small hints throughout the
Okay.
story that he let that girl. Okay?
Okay. I
Yes.
say he love her real bad.
He
Cause
do.
also what it made me think about was like, okay, I don't want to give you my name, but I'm really giving you so much more. Cause I compared myself to her when she went back to dwelling on his name and how bad she wanted to ask, and then she saw OM and now she wants to ask again. And it's like, girl, skip over that and look at everything else, boo. Like the charms, him taking you to his favorite place. Like, girl, focus. Like,
But also, I need y'all to know that as soon as she messages him, he comes running. It doesn't matter how much time. So
immediately.
she's focused on his name, but it's like, baby girl, you got him. Right? Like,
Yes. 10 years later. And it was like, girl, you barely had time to take a shower after you sent that text. He was on the way. Okay.
he's on the
Ooh, I
way.
love it. I want you to know I really did write this question. How the hell he found the perfect stud so damn fast? I
Okay.
said, well, wait a minute, girl.
So you're
And I
not
want
the
you to know
only
it's
one.
really on my paper how he found that damn stud.
So the
What?
funny, and this is why I think I have to give y'all something. Oh, it's probably gonna be in the Hey Substack. Heck, it might be a special edition, not no time soon. But I'm about to give y'all something.
Okay.
My beta readers ask the same question. So you have to think about. I'm one of those readers that like to fill in things. I don't like when an author tells me everything. So I gave y'all little nuggets, right? So I told y'all that him and his brother are both in this dom life, that they're members of clubs, right?
Okay. You gave
And
us that.
then they get on a private jet and they go to another male's home, right? As the dom to allow that, I wanted y'all to infer that those two people he has a relationship with. They're members of a club together, right?
Okay.
And so now I'm going to explicitly is friends with James, and it just so
Okay.
happened like, you said that. I got a homegirl that looked just like that, right? So
Yeah.
mind you, they're in the limo. She's saying her desire. She falls asleep. He's rerouting the limo. Well, like, take us to the jet because I know where we're going, right? They just
Yeah. It makes sense. And but you know what? I did overlook that one thing about his brother taking him, to that club or whatever. So, because I was like, now, how the hell? What is going on?
they're all a part of like a kink community. So,
Hmm.
um, and Odom play about safety test results. That wouldn't have been random. Like those were people he knew and trusted, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. And I also just wanted to say at the end, you gave me a heart attack because I was like, now, did she dream all this? Because this was too good. This was too good, my girl. But once again, she sent that text and he said, what you say, babe? What you
So
need?
I'm glad that you said that. So, and everybody's gonna roll their eyes when I say this. I wrote this story to be like The Matrix, right? That's one of my favorite movies, Red Pill or Blue Pill, right? So
Okay.
you could choose to read this book however you want. Red Pill, it absolutely did happen. I gave y'all hints when she said when she woke up, even though her bracelet wasn't there, she said I could still feel him
Mm-hmm.
inside of me, right? So if you
Mm-hmm.
wanted the red pill, it happened. But at this point, she is like, I can't get enough of him. She spins the block, and the Bentley's already almost there, and he's like
Yeah.
always right. You could also choose to read it like the blue pill, like she dreamt it, but don't be sad because now she's not waiting another 10 years.
Yeah.
She dreamt it, she woke up and was like, no, I want this, and she sent a text. And so you can assume that everything that happened in the book will happen, but now she'll stop acting shy.
Yeah.
She'll assume the position, she'll take the clothes off, she'll ask for this stuff. Like either way, it's like that they're inevitable. They're going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that so much. Okay. Okay, so now I'm gonna get to my think quick questions that I always ask. So the first question is, was there a scene that you enjoyed writing the most? And on the flip side, was there one that was the most difficult?
Yeah. I would say the scene that I enjoyed writing the most was definitely chapter 7, the Mile High scene. I enjoyed writing that scene the most because, again, if you read all my other works, you know I'm a scenery, like I'm a description person.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like describing the altitude and how it shifted and how it added to the feeling she was feeling and how it,
Yeah.
the ecstasy. Oh, goodness, I loved it so much.
Yeah.
You know, early readers was like, should he be taking her on a jet? They don't love each other. They're just hunting buddies. I'm like, that was one of the scenes where I was like, I'm not taking it out. I felt strongly about it.
I'm glad you didn't. I liked it.
So that was the most
scared. Like when the altitude started to get to us, I said, girl, this is not time to pass out. I need you to lock in.
Lock in. And sit on that throne, okay?
Okay.
So that was most fun. I would say the hardest scene to write was chapter 8, and not because I didn't enjoy myself. Oh goodness, I enjoyed writing the scene, but like I'm a very literal person, so you should have seen me. I looked crazy. I was crawling on the floor, and I was like, okay, if this person's here, then that means that, because like, don't just tell me something. I have to feel like I'm there, right? Like, okay, well, how does that work? Like, and I'm sitting here like this. And my husband's like, what are you doing?
I'm like, now, okay, if the leg was right here, what happened? Like, I get it, yeah.
And at one point, I tell you, she crawled under, and I'm like, I would appreciate, because my question is, how she get under there?
Exactly. Let me know how they locked in like this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Out of everyone, who is your favorite character and why?
Ooh. Okay, well, I mean,
it's your book. If you want to choose more than one, this your show.
Oh. I'm gonna pick one main character and one side character. How about that?
Okay, I like that.
I really enjoyed. He's my favorite character in the book because he is a dom, but he sometimes when you read about doms, right? You read about them. They want their pleasure so bad. They're cruel. They're mean. They don't. Sometimes they could not put the needs. And I honestly feel like when you're talking about BDSM, you have to. It's a whole community, and when people do things the right way, right? There's so much care and love and consensualness in it. And so, like in the kink community, I did a lot of research on like what a dom in love is supposed to be like, and I'm glad you felt it. Like he loves her, and like you were questioning it. And his voice was so clear to me. Like, I really wanted swords to cross. I wanted to write that scene. But I was just like, that's just not, I'm very authentic in who my characters are. That's not, that doesn't mean I won't, like, write a character like that. But I knew for him to have been a made-up person in my mind, lives rent-free in my mind. I know who OM is, okay? I know who he is. My favorite side character, even though she's not in the book long, is Zuri, because keep in mind, all of this kicks off because Zuri encouraged her 10 years ago to do something.
Yeah.
And then even her light banter and her teasing, like she's hosting the Valentine's Day party. She's teasing her about her pleasure. And I think, everybody deserves a friend like that. A friend who's going to take you out your comfort zone, a friend who's going to steward you through this. And even though she encouraged her, she was on standby. She turned her location on, I think that's really important. And, again, some of my beta readers tease me. They're like, why do we have to know Ray and Zuri's backstory? Are they ever getting a book? I don't know. But, like, again, in the LB universe, like, I want you to feel like you know everybody, just in case
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah. Okay. Was there anything that was initially different in the story versus what we ended up with?
Yeah, in the first draft of the story, there was no dressing room scene. My editor, shout out to Harper Wild. She actually narrates a lot of my work. She's also my editor. She is a very talented editor. She's one of two. I use Harper Wild, and I also use Cookie. I don't know if Cookie was telling everybody she's an editor, but Cookie's also a famous editor.
I
Who's
did not know
who's
that.
working on one of my projects now. Cookie's Inc. So again, Cookie, I put you out there. Sorry, Boogie, but I have some talented editors, but my Harper at the time was editing this book, and she literally circled it and was like, "You're missing out on a good old fashioned dressing room hunch scene." She said it, and it was fine. And then the goons read it, and the goons are Cookie, Monica, and Johnny. They literally like moderate all my groups. They keep me together because like I quit and I get ready to quit and I crash out every day.
What?
Every day. Literally, it'll be 11:58, and it'll be like, Obi didn't crash out today, and something will happen at 11:59, and I every day, like no exaggeration. But they read the book, and they're like, "Oh, this is really good," and I was like, "Yeah." And my editor said she wanted this scene, ha. And as soon I don't know why I said that, they were like, "Yes, it needs to happen now," right? And then DH and CM, like we read each other's books. They read my book, and they were like, you could have added one more scene, right? And in my head, I'm like, I gave y'all so much hunching. Y'all want more hunching from
Yeah. Yeah.
me? But yeah, I dug deep and I gave y'all one more scene and I it was a
Yeah.
nasty one, but I gave y'all one more.
Kudos to the squad. Shout out to y'all.
Yeah.
If you could make one character make a different decision than what they did in the book, what would it be? There's some hard hitting journalism right here, guys.
Yeah, I would have we're gonna go back to chapter 8. I would
Okay.
have still been involved, but Ty would have bought her girlfriend. So it would have added one more person to the party. Yeah. So like they're all friends. So like now y'all know that like I was a favorite of your old lady wants sign. All right, let's do it for you. But
Yeah.
there would have been
Okay.
there would have been one more body. Yeah.
Well, like that. Okay. Okay. Okay, and this would be the last one. If you could cast this book for a movie, who would you choose as some of the characters?
That is a really great question.
Because normally when I read, I'm gonna say this to give you time to think. Normally when I read, I always have like at least a few visuals. I literally only had one, and I've never
Who did
experienced
you
it before.
have?
I actually don't know if I want to say because I don't know that I would have chose him, but he is just the person who popped up in my head. So for O, I saw him as I think his name is Sky Black. He is one of the the two Tyler Perry show actors that married each other. One was on Sisters, and he is on like All the King's Men. I think maybe I'm making
Oh,
that up. I imagine him
okay.
as O, and it was only because some of the actions O did, I could see him like it, and it was simple stuff like can't remember what conversation they were having. Oh, when they were going over the terms of engagement. And it was like he lifted his chin up and said something. I just automatically imagine him as old. And then after that, he was old for the rest of the book.
Yeah. That's a good one. So here's the thing. I have people in mind, but for whatever reason, I don't know people's names. I'm
That
really bad at
happens a
people's
lot.
names.
Hey, Katie, hey, boo. That actually happens a
Um,
lot, though.
Hold on, I found my O, but let me paste him because for some reason he popped up on Pinterest and I still don't know this man's name.
Who is he in something we would know?
I'm gonna show you all him right now. Hold
Oh, we
on.
get
Please
real
hold.
visuals. Okay, I love that for us. Okay.
Please hold. He is so fine to me.
Let
Okay,
me
hold on.
find her. Let me see, girl. Let me like you.
Oh my god. Listen, I'm like a grandma. I'm like, how I
Girl,
turn
you
my
see, I didn't even know how to
camera?
shut the damn live out when I started it, so don't feel bad.
How I turn my camera? There got to be a way to turn it around. Oh, here we go. Y'all see this man right there? Who is that?
I don't know. I thought it was Lance Gross at first, but that's not him, is he?
No, that's not Lance. Lance would do it too. So one thing I know, two things for sure. Oh, it's chocolate.
Yeah.
He's chocolate. And so Lance would do too. Um
Oh, he was in the
there's
neighborhood. Okay, with Angela Bassett. Okay.
yeah.
I think I just be wanting everybody to be Lance Gross, to be honest. I say that every day.
Because he's so fine.
He
Lance
just
Gross is
does
fine.
it. He could play a thug. He could play a college boy. He could just whatever.
I would say Ava would be Ryan Destiny.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I would say for sure. Um
Now that's true.
Ty,
Lance wasn't getting the bending at 8.
do
But
y'all watch do y'all watch the TikTok with like they call it like Stud TV? It's like the group of friends. There's like Stevie. Y'all know who I'm talking about? She's like muscular. She's locked. She has a real nice build.
yeah, now I'm finna start getting
Anybody know
there.
what I'm talking about?
Let me see, because now
Hold
I'm
on,
speaking
I'm gonna find
the
her handle. This feels weird because she's actually a real person, not.
language. Let's see. When she get a whole bunch of followers tonight, she gonna be like, what the hell
Hold on,
going
I'm gonna
on?
find her for y'all. Hold on. Oh,
Find
okay, they call
girl.
themselves Studs of TikTok, and
Not the girl Easy, huh?
no, not her.
I
Stevie
would say
dot
we don't like her.
Shari. No,
Okay.
not the one talking about the plus size girl. Not her.
I was
Not,
about to
but
say
that's the
absolutely not.
Katie. That is the same group, but not her. The one I'm talking about is Stevie dot Shari, and it's STEVI.SHAR.
Girl, let me see who the hell it is. Let me see. I'm trying to pull it up. Oh,
Anybody fine?
I don't know.
She said, "Oh yeah, like uh huh."
Google hating on
Yeah,
me just pulling up pictures of Steve Jobs. And then y'all know damn well that's not what I said.
hold on. Let me go ahead and type it in the chat so that y'all can do research. Y'all can do y'all read guide.
Cause definitely am.
Stevie dot.
You see how Google hating on me? Cause I'm trying to see. Oh,
That's
that's the problem. Cause let me tell you, when I was reading that book, I said, now where the hell get a damn stud out his back pocket from?
mighty quick.
Yeah, you ate that up though. I wasn't sure. Okay, here she go. Let's see. Let me see. I'm waiting on the photo to load.
James. Um, I should have had this ready. Like, I'm be ready for this question next time.
Yeah, I approve. Yeah.
Yeah, next
That'll do
time
it.
I'm gonna be ready.
That'll do it.
Honestly, James like Aaron Pierre. That's Mufasa. Because James is fine too. Yeah, that's who I
Yeah,
was
cause
thinking
that's
for
Mufasa.
James. For Malcolm, I'm thinking, what is this man's name? Again, I see him. Trevante Rhodes for Malcolm. Yeah, Malcolm is fine too. Um,
Shout out to my girl Ava being sandwiched between Trevante Rhodes and Lance Gross.
yeah, don't you let that for her.
I love it for her and for me as the watcher of the movie.
Yeah, and for Sierra,
Damn, I forgot about Sierra.
Sierra, I see her as is real pretty and plus.
You said me?
Well, I see
What you
you,
say?
Nay. You
Oh,
Sierra.
I see it. I see. I wouldn't mind acting. I wouldn't mind giving it a shot.
Yeah.
For you, if you asked, absolutely. Give me the script.
You know who I see? Who honestly I seen in my head is Sierra. I can't
Hmm.
think of her name, but y'all watched Insecure, the funny friend Kelly. I seen
Oh,
she's
Natasha.
she's really there to do a job. She really didn't think she was getting double stuff like an
Oh, yeah.
Oreo.
That
She
would
did
be
that's
fun
not what she
too.
thought.
That
Yeah.
I like that. I want to say her name's like Natasha Ren. Ren something. 'Cause I used to follow her, so I know who you're talking about.
That's who I seen. Yeah.
Natasha Rockwell. That's her name. Yeah,
Mhm.
I would love that because I could just imagine the look on her face, like, who me?
Yeah. Like,
Absolutely,
you want me
yeah.
to do what?
Oh, okay. I lied. One more question. One more question. I promise I'm gonna let you go. Okay, I'm gonna name a character, and I want you to give me a word that you hope that we think of when we think of these characters. Okay, Ava,
Liberation.
Ray.
Solid.
I'm gonna leave it at O.
Just one word.
Or whatever. Again, it's your show. Whatever.
The first word that came to my mind is orgasm. Oh,
We definitely got that one. We definitely got that. I think we all received that from him.
yeah. Uh-huh.
And one thing I really loved that I felt was a little different, at least in my reading journey, it was seeing somebody who I feel like we all came into the story thinking like, okay, he finna wear her out, he a dom, he finna. But it was like he genuinely loved her and he just wanted her to love herself and receive whatever is out there for her and whatever she wants. And I feel like I haven't really read a story that gave us that part. Like you have gentle doms, you have nurturing doms and all that, but it's like he genuinely wanted to use whatever time he had with her to help her see like you deserve this, you are worthy of this, like if you want it, you deserve to have it. Like and
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that.
right. Y'all also picked up that, like, yes, O is a Dom, but the way he typically would treat a sub is different. She was just different to him, right? Like, growing up, I used to hear, like, there's no such thing as, like, there's no such thing as a man, like, a man knows who he wants, right? And
Mhm.
so, unfortunately, the O that Ava got is probably not the same O that other women got or other subs got. But there was
Yeah.
something about Ava that he seen, like, oh, you're not shy. Like, it became his mission to bring it out of her, you
Yeah.
know? And literally, he's there. We hear it all the time. I'm here for your pleasure. Like, not just for the night. Like, over this past decade, I've always been here for your pleasure. Use me, choose me,
Yeah. Holla
sit
at your
on me.
boy.
Mhm.
Okay, and then I promise I'm for real this time. This is the last one. But this one is not just for 109, it's just a question I have as a reader of your work. I feel like one thing I see throughout all of your books in some way is almost like I might not describe it right, but just I feel like every book in some way is almost like whispering to us like Black women, I want you to be softer to yourself. I want you to be gentle with yourself. And also like Black girl, you are enough. Is that well, I know I'm not making it up at this point, but is that something that's important to you when you write a book? Like it almost feels like you are our sister, and you are saying to us like, I want you to enjoy this book, but I want you to hear me.
Every single book I write has a different message targeted for Black women. If you should look at every single one of my books as a love letter to Black women, and or like a therapy session, and you're sitting on my couch, and each time we're talking or working through something different, right? So like 3 months in a cry, it was grief, losing her best friend, and the insecurity that she felt within herself. So you have to remember 3 months of cry is all from Eliza's point of view. So she's like crashing out thinking that there's mean girl, she's never been accepted, but she's had a hard time ever accepting herself, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like maybe things are exasperated. So that was the message of that one. Then you keep moving in room 214. It's about the Black girl who feels like she has to be useful, she has to be the top of the company, she has to be achieving something to be loved.
Yeah.
It's like baby girl, put it down, right? Beneath the harvest moon, like, the single mom who is carrying her grief on her shoulders, carrying her past and what happened to her on her shoulder, and won't let anybody in, and won't talk to the family. And she's so strong. And so, there's always a different message. And this one was about desire. Um, and, your sexual pleasures. And, one of my favorite lines is like, take it every day like a vitamin, lady loves, right? Like, you're even if it's not pleasure coming from somebody else. Like, one of the first things I learned as a toy pleasure consultant is when people don't know their own pleasures, you're like, they say, encourage them to pleasure themselves daily until they know their body, because if you don't know your body, how you expect somebody else to explore it like a map? Right? You
Mm.
don't know your own map.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right, each book is a different message. And um, it makes me feel really good that you're receiving my little messages and my little whispers.
I definitely receive it. And that's why room 214 is my favorite because I feel like that was the message I needed the most.
Yeah.
Like, even just like, girl, it's okay to lay down. It's okay to disconnect and chill. You don't have to be doing something at all times. Where you
You
at
can
right now
still
is
be
enough.
useful if you achieve absolutely nothing. You're still worth $1 million. You're still the prize.
Okay. And we got a question in the comments. I do know what the next book is. Do you want to share it with the class?
The next book that I'm releasing. So yes,
Mm-hmm.
I after this book, I promise you I'm taking a break because I've been running nonstop.
You have.
Um, my next book is Bulletproof Love. It is the first book that I ever wrote, right? So if you've seen me talk at all on any of these lives, right, I was writing Bulletproof Love, and I had writer's block. And
Mm-hmm.
thank God for writer's block, because if I didn't have it, you would never have 3 months in a cry, room 214, and I wrote smaller novellas to get my brain pumping. I didn't imagine releasing them at the time. They were just to get me out my slump. I really wanted to share them with the world. But then I was able to go back and finish Bulletproof Love. It is urban fiction, urban romance. I'm a lover girl, so it's very much so Xavier's rough and tough will get you between the eyes. But when it comes to Chanel, when it comes to Channy, when it comes to the
Mm-hmm.
love of his life, he's real soft. And I don't know about y'all, but that's how I like my thugs. Be real
Yes.
rough and tough to everybody but me. Um, but more than that, there's a real deep story there. Um, I'm obsessed, and you get the exclusive here because I never said this anywhere else before. But when I was a young girl, unfortunately, I was obsessed with a lot of love stories where Black people weren't represented. And one of
Mm-hmm.
those stories was Dear John by Nicholas Sparks. And then I later found out he didn't like Black people. He didn't like, anyhow. Which
Mm-hmm.
Bulletproof Love is my Black version of Dear John. And what I mean by that, completely different storyline. There's a lot of letters between the two characters.
Okay.
And so, it's not coming out on Valentine's Day, but the day before. And I can't think of any other better day because Xavier's a lover boy and their love story is so beautiful. It spans 20 years. It's a big
Oh
time jump.
wow. Okay.
The book is told in 3 parts. And it was just So that I get so emotional thinking about it because it was my first baby that I started working on 2 years ago. Like it's been an idea, and now it's finally in fruition. I am a hybrid author, so I'm signed to LKG Publications, which is Elle Kaysen and her sister Kizzy's
Hmm.
publication company. But I also do write independently, and so it's the first book through that I'm coming out with through the through the LKG production
Hmm.
publications. So I'm excited about that. And follow me everywhere. You'll get information. It's coming out February 13th.
All right. Well, thank you so much. This book was so good. It was a time. And like I said at the beginning, from, coming into your first book and following you on this journey, like you just get better and better every time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then also, thank you for always putting a love letter to us in your books. And I hope you receive that love back from us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank y'all. Thank y'all. I'm actually gonna save. I do have an announcement, but I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna make a post tomorrow. I feel like we ended on a very nice, sweet, sisterly note. Now I want to package it up just like this.
I do want to say make sure y'all pre-order and y'all mark y'all calendars for 123. It's book 2 and the 2 a.m. series. It comes out on Friday. That's literally around the corner. If you love
Mm-hmm.
109, somebody say you might see some characters again, maybe potentially in the next one. I don't know. I don't know who said that. Who said that? But it is really good. It's really spicy. You get 3 different authors, 3 different styles, 3 different takes on the prompt, but it is so good. It is so spicy. Nobody does angst like DH Renfro. It's angsty.
I can't wait. Well, You know what? I'm gonna say this because you actually just segued me into what the announcement was. So when I announced the book for January, I said we were starting the year off with a bang. So with that in mind, we are not just doing book one; we are doing the entire series together. So y'all make sure y'all get 123 on Friday because I will be going live with DH Renfro on February 5th. Then after that, y'all will grab 2:06 a.m., which is book 3 of the series, and I will be going live with CM Barnes to recap that. So we are starting the year with a whole series recap. So y'all grab 123 on Friday. I will post the info for my live with DH Renfro. And then after that live, I will post the info for the live with CM Barnes. So I'm so excited. So thank y'all ladies so much for letting me start my year off with y'all. It was a
Thank you
time
so
of
much.
time.
Thank
All
you for
right.
having me, y'all.
Thank you for coming. Y'all have a good night. Y'all make sure y'all follow LB Games. Y'all get ready for the next book. I'm super excited about that because y'all know I love me some urban romance. So yeah, we're gonna show some love on that one for real. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night. Thank y'all.